So, for those who don't know who Gucci Mane is, this man is literally a living legend of trap music. Radrick Davis, that's his real name, is from Atlanta, Georgia. He came up around 2005. He grew alongside the trap genre. And if you want to understand where the music we all listen to today comes from, Future, Young Thug, Migos, 21 Savage, a lot of those guys either came through Gucci's circle at some point or were directly influenced by him. The man is one of the architects of the scene. But Gucci did not have an easy life at all. He was in and out of prison multiple times, had serious problems with the law, and at one point it really looked like things were going very bad for him. But in 2016, he got out of prison, got married, lost a ton of weight, completely changed as a person, and since then, he's been one of the most active and respected figures in the industry. And with his new era came his record label, 1017 Records, rebranded to the new 1017. Under that label, he signed a bunch of new artists, a lot of them from Memphis, and among them, a young guy named Pooh Shiesty. Pooh Shiesty, real name Lontrell Williams Jr., is from Memphis, Tennessee. This guy exploded in 2020, right in the middle of the pandemic. The song Back in Blood with Lil Durk dropped, and within a few weeks, it was everywhere. That nasal voice, the aggressive flow, the way he rhymed, dude caught on immediately. Gucci Mane saw it fast and signed him to 1017. He dropped his debut album, Shiesty Season, and it debuted in the top 3 of the Billboard 200. For a brand new artist, that is an insane start. He was on track to become one of the biggest stars in trap music. But, and this is a big but, when 2021, just a few months after the album came out, Pooh Shiesty got arrested by the feds. The charge? Conspiracy to possess firearms in connection with drug trafficking and crimes of violence. He pleaded guilty and got 5 years and 3 months in federal prison. 5 years. Basically, at the peak of his career, he disappeared. Now, important to mention, throughout the entire time he was locked up, Gucci Mane kept promoting him, kept his name alive. But at the same time, in 2024, there were reports that Gucci had released almost all of his artists from 1017 from their contracts. Almost everyone, except 2, Fugiano and Pooh Shiesty. And that created a problem. Pooh Shiesty got out of prison in October 2025, so roughly 6 months ago he came out hungry. He dropped the single FDO in December 2025, a clear sign he wanted to get back into the game fast. But immediately there was a problem. He was still locked into his contract with 1017 Records, and the word was that Gucci wasn't willing to let him go. And there's another piece to this. There were reports that Yo Gotti, the other major boss from Memphis with his label CMG Records, had been courting Pooh Shiesty with an offer. Think about that. Pooh Shiesty is from Memphis. Yo Gotti is the Memphis boss. Big30 is already at CMG. It makes total sense that Pooh wanted to go home, be with his people. But Gucci wouldn't budge. Now, a normal person in that situation, what do? You hire a lawyer. You negotiate. You go to court if you have to. That's the legal route. Pooh Shiesty chose a different route. And now we get to the part that gives me chills every time. Because what comes next is not improvised. It is planned. Days in advance. January 8th, 2026. Pooh Shiesty, his father. Yeah, his actual biological father, Lontrell Williams Sr., Big30, and a few other individuals from Memphis get in their cars and drive toward Dallas. Shiesty's father personally rented one of the vehicles. They arrive in Dallas on January 9th and check into a hotel. Now, while they're already in Dallas, Pooh Shiesty reaches out to Gucci Mane and proposes a business meeting. The official reason, to discuss the terms of his contract. Gucci agrees and flies to Dallas on January 10th, along with 2 other people from his circle. But here's what makes it even colder. And this is in the federal documents in black and white. A few hours before the meeting, Shiesty's father went to a Staple, an office supply store, and printed some documents. What documents? The contract termination papers for Pooh Shiesty's deal with 1017 Records. Think about that for a second. They printed the papers before Gucci even landed. They knew exactly what they were going to do. This is not a spontaneous argument. This is a premeditated plan. It's January 10th, 3:43 p.m. Gucci, Mane, and his team walk into the recording studio on Dallas Parkway. The moment they're inside, Pooh Shiesty's group, 9 people total, executes what federal documents describe as an armed takeover. Here's how it went down. Pooh Shiesty separates Gucci Mane, takes him into a recording room alone. At the same time, the other 7 or 8 individuals stay in the control room with Gucci's 2 other people. Big30, according to the charges, used his body to barricade the door so nobody could escape or call for help. Inside the recording room, Pooh Shiesty pulls out an AK-style pistol from a bag and points it directly at Gucci Mane. He puts those Staples printed papers on the table. Sign. Gucci Mane, one of the hardest men in hip-hop, a man who has been through things most people can't even imagine, signed. What else was he supposed to do with a gun pointed at his face? Meanwhile, in the other room, the situation was even more violent. The other suspects pulled out their weapons and started robbing everyone. One person had their Rolex watch, wallet, AirPods, and a Louis Vuitton bag stolen. Another person, and this is in the federal complaint word for word, was choked from behind to the point of nearly losing consciousness. The victims believed they were going to be executed. That is literally what the documents say. After the papers were signed and everything that could be stolen was stolen, the group left, got in their cars, and vanished. And now we get to the part that leaves me speechless every single time I think about it. These people just committed a federal kidnapping. They held people against their will, stole tens of thousands of dollars worth of property, threatened people's lives. Common sense says, lay low, stay quiet, don't move. What did they do instead? Within hours of the incident, multiple suspects posted photos and videos on social media showing off the stolen Rolex watches and jewelry. They literally posted the evidence of their crime on Instagram and TikTok. And there's one more thing, a detail that sealed the whole case. Pooh Shiesty was on home confinement, meaning he had gotten out of prison, but he was wearing an ankle monitor and was not allowed to leave his home without approval. The electronic monitor and data placed him exactly at the Dallas studio, exactly at 3:43 p.m. The feds had studio surveillance footage, Staples store surveillance footage, hotel surveillance footage where the group stayed, GPS data from Pooh Shiesty's ankle monitor, license plate reader records tracking the Memphis to Dallas route, the car rental contract in his father's name, and fingerprints lifted from red plastic cups found at the crime scene. The case basically billed itself. On April 2nd, 2026, the Department of Justice went public with the indictment. 9 people charged federally with kidnapping and conspiracy to commit kidnapping. The list: Pooh Shiesty, his father Lontrell Williams Sr., Big30, and 6 others: Kadarius Waters, Demarion Gibson, DeMarcus Glover, Corday Johnson, Darian McDaniel, and Terrence Rogers. On April 3rd, 8 of them were arrested simultaneously in Dallas, Memphis, and Nashville. The FBI also raided Pooh Shiesty's house in Memphis. The last suspect, Terrence Rogers, was caught on April 3rd by the FBI Atlanta team. All 9 are now in federal custody. A federal judge has already found probable cause to move the case forward. Shiesty's father got a $250,000 bond. Pooh Shiesty remained in detention in Dallas. The main charge, conspiracy to commit kidnapping, carries a maximum sentence of life in prison. This is not a small case. This is federal. Pooh Shiesty's attorney came out publicly and said he found inconsistencies in the case and that they'd address them once they received full discovery. Standard defense move. But when the feds have that much digital and physical evidence, it's tough. Now, a question everyone's asking. What did Gucci Mane say about all of this? Short answer, nothing. Gucci Mane has not made a single public statement since the story broke. Total silence. And honestly, that makes complete sense. He's a victim in an active federal case. Anything he says publicly could affect the proceedings. Some clips went viral claiming Gucci had reacted on Instagram Live, but all of them were debunked. Old videos taken completely out of context, a community noted on X. As for the hip-hop world in general, everyone is in shock. Not because conflicts haven't happened in rap before, they have. But an artist kidnapping his own label boss to get out of a contract, with his father helping, with the papers printed beforehand, that's a level of crazy that we rarely see. So to wrap it up real quick, Pooh Shiesty got out of prison in October 2025, wanted out of his contract with Gucci Mane, refused to take the legal route, planned a kidnapping alongside his father and Big30, executed it at a studio in Dallas, forced one of the biggest rappers in the world to sign papers at gunpoint, and then posted the stolen jewelry on social media the same day. He now faces life in prison. That's hip-hop in 2026, bro. If you enjoyed the video, drop a like, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and let me know in the comments. Is this 100% on Pooh Shiesty, or do you think there's something else going on behind the scenes that we don't know about yet? Until next time, peace.